All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this news-breaking day, we're joined by David Horowitz, founder of the David Horowitz Freedom Center, editor of FrontPage magazine, and author of Progressive Racism. That is his latest. Hello, David.
Hi, Steve.
Always good to talk to you. So before we get to the election, what's your take on what went on in this country over the weekend in Minnesota, New York, New Jersey?
Well, it shows what suicidal idiots Democrats and progressives are, doesn't it? We have this big Somali population in Minnesota. Big surprise. One of them wants to stab 8 people in a mall. But crying out tears. I mean, we don't have a vetting system. I mean, I've watched these spokespeople for the Democratic Party go on, Center for the American Progress, and talk about the elaborate vetting systems that they have. But the fact is, how can you have a vetting system if you don't even recognize that the enemy is Islamic? It's Islamic supremacism. It's an ideology. And if you're not screening people for that ideology, anybody who believes in Sharia law believes in, which is Islamic law, in a system that nullifies the American Constitution. They shouldn't be coming here. We don't know what their potential is.
Well, don't worry. There's only
these incidents show in this. They can come and they can settle. They can have successful business, and they can still try to murder you.
Don't worry. There's only another 100,000 Syrian refugees coming next year.
Yeah, and then, as Trump keeps saying, Hillary wants to increase it 550%. They can hardly bring themselves, they can't bring themselves to recognize the problem. So the Democrats are dangerous. And I think that the public understands this. One of the benefits of the whoring of the journalistic community in behalf of the Democrats is that nobody believes them anymore. So they have to, see with their own eyes. And, the public understands that the Democratic Party has been against fighting the war on terror since 1993, when Bill Clinton didn't even visit the World Trade Center, where 1,000 people had been injured by a bomb and 6 killed.
Right.
That's when the Democrats began to dig in their heels and want to treat all these terrorist attacks as isolated incidents that had nothing to do with Islam, nothing to do with an ideology. I think that the people are fed up, and I believe that if Donald Trump doesn't commit some egregious errors, which he's capable of, he's going to win in a landslide.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. As a layman, but as somebody who knows what the media has done to demonize Donald Trump, anybody who answers the phone and tells a pollster, yeah, I'm voting for Trump, there's almost a bravery involved there. So imagine how many are answering the phone and are afraid to say they're voting for Donald Trump, who in fact will vote for Donald Trump.
Not to mention that the polls are always biased against Republicans. But, the reality is that, a tremendous asset that Republicans have is the fact that the Democrats are so delusional. I mean, they believe their own propaganda. They think that all Republicans are racist, sexist, homophobes, Islamophobes, deplorables. That Hillary Clinton is worse than she has been worse than anything Joe McCarthy ever did. I mean, Joe McCarthy, 99% of the people he brought before his committees were, in fact, working for the Soviet Union. He exaggerated with Owen Lattimore and a few others, and his name is now infamous, of course, because the left writes the history books in America. But look at what Hillary has done. She's the originator of a vast right-wing conspiracy. Every word out of her mouth is accusing Trump and Republicans of recruiting for ISIS, of being traitors.
Right,
I mean,
right.
They're crying out tears. Yet these progressives, these Democrats, think that they're holier than thou.
Well, the good news,
they stand for equality and tolerance.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They stand for bigotry and the oppression of blacks in the inner cities. And I hope you've covered Trump's. I had something to do with this, is one of the reasons, but I think it's revolutionary.
Well, David, we'll have you back next week. I don't have time to get into something revolutionary. I'm anxious to hear about it, so that'll be a great tease. David Horowitz will rejoin us next week and talk about Trump. I think it has something to do with race. I hope we'll speak to David Horowitz next week. Thank you very much, sir.